Alright, so we find out the Lord Seeker, the head of the Templars, is a demon in disguise. Essentially possessed by a demon. We're used to that with the mages, but I think it's a new thing for the Templars, for the most part. That used to be what they fought against, and now they seem to welcome that type of thing with this red Lyrium stuff. Which is, I guess, the Templar version of blood magic or something. Some way to gain extra power of some sort. Anyway, it's the means by which the demon has corrupted most of the Templars here. Who knows, some of these Templars right here in this very room may already be corrupted also. Not much we can do about that. What we need to do right now is go find the few lieutenants that may still be loyal, that are left, and may have the means to break down those magical barriers behind the altar back there, so we can get to the Envy Demon. Now, I did a walkthrough of this this whole part right here in detail, and I'm essentially going to follow the same pattern I did then because, well, it works. In this case, I will also save the Noble as well as Barris. When we didn't play the little games that the Envy Demon wanted us to when we first got here by raising and lowering the flags and all that other crap, essentially the Noble was able to get out of harm's way, and so we got to save him too this time. What I like to do is, if you're facing the altar, if you'll notice, facing the altar when you're in the main hall, okay, first go the bottom door to the left, and I come out here, and I clear out all these guys. This is, to me, the biggest threat right here of this entire part of this quest, is this initial courtyard, because you have several of these guys who are essentially archers. They're shooting lasers out of their hand. They're kind of like the, what would you say, the Inquisition version of the Phantoms in Mass Effect 3? Kinda. Anyway, they shoot little lasers or magic or whatever it is out of their hands. And they can also power themselves up and run around, and if you're within a certain AoE range of them, you'll take a lot of damage. At least your main character will. Your followers aren't quite as susceptible to it. But if you stand next to one of these guys when they're glowing with the red lightning or whatever that crap is, your health's going to disappear like really fast. Alright, but you have somewhat of a secret wall there, I guess you could say. There may be a door if you're playing as a rogue. There may be a door to pick that has similar loot or something somewhere else. Or, you know, maybe a wall that's fallen down that you can pick up as a mage or something. I'm just guessing. I haven't played through here as a rogue or a mage yet. I will one day, but right now we have a wall to break down. And notice I didn't go get any of the lieutenants or any of the stuff right now. It took long enough to clear out that courtyard that I wanted to come back here. As long as the meter doesn't get past the, oh, I'd say, a 30% mark, it'll show you, you see in the top right of the corner, there's that little gauge, and it says Great Hall status. And if it gets down to about, I don't know, 30-25% range or so, at some point, Barris will take an injury that he won't recover from, and he'll die. So as long as you get back here when it's around half or so, you know, you should be cool. And you can make multiple trips back here. The only downside of that is that each time you leave the hall again, it starts to count down a little faster, but not that much.
Red Templars have fought.
Some broke through to siege the fort. More will come.
What I'll do is I'll get the longest parts of the mission out of the way, right? Like clearing out that courtyard takes a while. If I try to go get a lieutenant also and then make it back. Now, playing on Nightmare here, it's taking a little longer to kill these guys. If you're not playing on Nightmare, you could probably kill everybody in the courtyard a lot faster, probably get one of the lieutenants and make it back in plenty of time. Plus, when you grab a lieutenant, it's going to add a little time back on the clock. Just a little bit. But, playing like this, it's taking me long enough to kill these guys that I want to, you know, kind of play it safe. So now that the courtyard's clear, a couple more archers might respawn, but a good bulk of those enemies we just faced, they're gone. In fact, you see some red dots on my little mini-map there. They're not even bothering me. I'm not going to bother them. I'm just going to walk right past them. And now I'm going to go to the next longest phase of this. When you go through this room, take a right. And up here will be one of the lieutenants fighting some enemies. Clear them out. It should put a little time back on the clock. And then there's going to be a door to pick over here and a relatively large area full of loot down there. If you want this loot, then I would suggest doing this as the first actual rescue mission. You know, clear out the courtyard, go back, fight off the main hall, and then come do this first, because you'll have the most time on the clock to do so. And as it is, clearing these guys out as fast as I can and then getting all the loot, I barely make it back to the main hall in time to keep Barris alive. So I can just imagine if I did a few of the other missions and all that and then came and did this last, I probably wouldn't have time to clear all this stuff out.
It's good to see you alive, Herald. Head back into the main hall. We'll meet you there. Of course.
Alright. Now notice it's what, about the 75% mark. Jumped up a little bit. Alright, so I got some of that back. Not much, but some. And it'll take a second to start going down again. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and take command of Sarah here and run down here as fast as I possibly can. I'm going to try to grab everything. I'm big about grabbing all the loot that I can when I can. I already sacrificed a little bit by not playing the little flag game when I first got here. Because if you do the, if you arrange the flags for the Envy Demon, well, the Lord Seeker, who was the Envy Demon, then there's also a few things that you can loot in that area, mostly like potato sacks and stuff that you can get some materials out of. It's good stuff, you know. I hate losing that, and I would hate to pass this up also if I didn't have to. So it's good that you can return back to the hall a few times, even though this is a timed mission, and I hate those. I hate working against the clock in anything. I hate escort missions and time missions. But, even though it is, at least they make it to where you can go back to the main hall essentially as many times as you want. I don't know, there may be some limit. I haven't seen one. Notice I'm getting dangerously close to the halfway mark already, and it takes her a long time to pick these locks, so...
I hear shouting. The Great Hall's under attack.
Yeah, that's a good sign that you probably ought to head back that way when he says that. Anyway, so we got some crafting materials and stuff. I read a codex down there. Now, I don't know. I have not yet gone to look at the trophies on this game, so I don't know if there's a trophy for every codex in the game. But it'd be interesting if there is, if that's one that you need in particular. That'd be the only way to get it. So to make sure to go down there. Like I say, you know, you can get the best ending out of this quest and still get everything too, as long as you do everything in order. And now that we're up here, we can kick a ladder down, but we can climb back up. And that's cool, because there's some loot up here on the upper balcony. We'll help them clear out these guys. Now notice, these guys strongly resemble the abominations that the mages become once they've given into demons. And so the red lyrium effect on these guys, I mean, it's an unmistakable similarity. So, I'm not far enough in the game to know exactly what the connection there is between red lyrium and demon possession and blood magic and whatever else, summoning demons and all that kind of good stuff. I don't quite know. I just know these guys, that looks like an abomination if you ask me. Although I don't see the mages doing the AoE spirit lightning thing around themselves. So, and I'm glad they don't, actually. Or the archery shooting lasers out of your hand thing they're doing either. Now you notice there's a box of potions over there. I'm not using it now for a reason. I want to clear all this out and then be able to fully re-up my health, use up any potions that I've got on hand, and then hit that box and I'll get a full, fresh stock of potions. So I'm saving that for a reason. It's not that I'm just passing it up. I actually will need that later. There is a part, once we've gotten the lieutenants and gotten the Lyrium, there's a part that I consider rather difficult. It's kind of like almost an arena fight type deal, where you have to go through some waves. Essentially, you have to last a certain amount of time. I don't think it matters how many enemies you kill, but you have to last like a couple minutes or whatever against waves of archers and abomination Templars and all this other crap. So it's nice to have a full stock of potions, mainly for my followers and anything else. Keep us on our feet. You have to have at least a man standing when it's over. It can be pretty rough. Okay, now instead of going back to save that other lieutenant, what I'm going to do is essentially the same thing I did with the other courtyard. I'm going to come kind of clear out this courtyard, but what I can do is if I start from above, I can get one of the lieutenants on this side out of the way, and also get down there and clear out a few enemies, and then come back and defend the main hall, then come back over to this side to get the Lyrium, which is hidden over here, along with a lot of loot. There's a room just full of loot. There's a little cutscene with coal and stuff, and thankfully that doesn't count against the clock. But, this guy's really quick to get to because he's right here by the top door. Notice the clock has barely moved, so far. So if we can clear these guys out pretty fast, we should have time to save this lieutenant and get downstairs and clear out some more archers and stuff that are hiding down there. Kind of like they were in the courtyard on the other side. Pretty similar. Walked into that, didn't he? Sweet.
What happened to them?
Regroup with Barris. He'll explain the plan.
Alright, good deal. See? Time on the clock, and we've lost barely any so far. And once again, try to grab all the loot that I can. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Nice little stash there. Some free coins. And we're doing pretty good in the health department. Not too bad, actually. I think we'll make it through this. Alright, I like to come down here, because this is a little side room I probably wouldn't check coming from the main hall. Alright, so here we'd have some archers that they're watching the door we'd normally come out of. So we get in behind them. And a couple of his homeboys are going to come over here, and there they are. And this Blackwall just went and got right up in his grill. Sweet. Good stuff. Alright, these guys are the real danger. If you can get them frozen, knocked down, stunned, I think it takes off that magic buff that they've got. And see, that's the problem, is grappling chain will not take off their buff, but as long as you've got a barrier, you're good. Actually, I don't think that spirit AoE stuff they do has a lot of effect on barrier. Once your barrier's down, oh man, it just rapes your health. I mean, almost instantly. Alright, so our clock is roughly about 50%. Probably be a good idea to get back inside. Then we come right back out here.
I hear shouting. The Great Hall's under attack.
Yep, we're headed that way. First, let me grab this stuff. Can't pass that up. Important things first, of course. Notice the clock is moving a little faster, it seems like. Alright, we should be back in plenty of time.
We'll keep the
I think another added bonus to doing it like this is each time you kill one of these possessed Templars or whatever they are, they have a chance on dropping stuff. A lot of times it's something you can turn into Manave, your beast investigator person back there in Haven, for XP and influence. So it's always a good deal. Nice, yeah, see, they all drop something, it looks like. Yeah, all those things like red Lyrium and, what, Templar archer bows and whatever else. I'll take it all. It's all good to me. Okay, I say we go back out here and grab our Lyrium. Maybe another enemy or two spawned out here, but like I say, the bulk of them will be gone. Once you clear out the courtyard the first time, usually most of the enemies don't respawn. A couple might, but not all of them. In fact, yeah, I see a red dot right there, as a matter of fact. Actually, I'll ignore him as long as he ignores me. I'm working against the clock here, so he can just keep his distance if he wants to. Like we have demonic stuff been going on in here. What's up with this?
The Elder One wants her dead. Empress Selene. He hates her, haunts her, wants her dead, but hides. Why? He hid other things too.
Okay, so finding this note apparently unveils a plot that this envy demon, working as the Lord Seeker, had put in place to
Liliana can discover why he wants Celine's head.
target Empress Celine, who of course is leading all of Orlais, and is essentially a buffer between Tevinter and Ferelden, sort of. I don't know. I'm sure that's going to play out in a major way as we go along in the story. So just keeping that in mind, that's what that letter was. It was stapled to, the statue's face with a knife. Apparently that envy demon has a real problem with
Must be the red Lyrium
poor Celine.
Seeker gave the Templars.
The same kind you saw by the breach. Where did it come from, I wonder?
Right, because we don't go there. Here, the untainted Lyrium Barris told us about.
Is some supply of this lyrium maybe coming through the smugglers that we've caught wind of back in the hinterlands? Maybe some connection there, you think? There was a note, and we will hear about this again from Varric when we actually talk to him in length. To, of course, unlock his codexes and get a little of his history and whatever. But in Dragon Age 2, when the Templar captain, whatever her name, Meredith? Whatever her name was, essentially the last boss battle, the boss at the end of the game, when she freaks out and you finally kill her, the red Lyrium idol had initially driven her insane, similar to what it's doing to these people here. Of course, she wasn't ingesting the stuff, at least I don't think. Maybe she was, I don't know. But when she died, she turned into Lyrium. Actual, just regular Lyrium. She is a statue of Lyrium. Not red Lyrium, but just Lyrium. At least that's how I understand it. Now, if that's the case, I'm just kind of venturing. I'm just imagining here, guessing. But follow along with me. You have red Lyrium here in this age, that we see what it's doing to people here at this almost, I don't know if you'd call this an end-time apocalyptic type event or something. I don't know. But we have this current age, this Dragon Age that we're in now, and red Lyrium is present, and it's doing to this. Now, we saw what it did to Meredith. Does it eventually result in the people that it affects at some point becoming actual Lyrium, turning into Lyrium? And if that's the case, is the Lyrium, the real Lyrium that the dwarves are finding underground, and that the mages use to replenish their magic, and that the Templars use to fight magic, is that Lyrium from a source of people in the previous age and in events that are similar to these? Maybe not the same people, maybe not the same places, but an apocalyptic type event where red Lyrium is introduced by the powers of evil or whatever, and blah blah, and when everything's said and done, those that were affected by it turn into actual Lyrium, eventually become buried, and then millions of years later you have a new age where all these events kind of play themselves out again. I'm just saying, because if the red Lyrium turned the Knight Captain turned Meredith, whatever her name was, if it turns her into actual Lyrium, then the Lyrium we're finding in this age may have been from other people turned into Lyrium from a previous age. Events similar to these. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling, but it's just a thought. It got me to thinking. I was like, that would be cool. And I'm just looking ahead. I don't know if that is part of the story. That's not a spoiler, because I literally don't know, and I'm just, as I sit here right now, guessing. If later on in the game something along those lines comes to pass, I'll be like, wow, how well developed of a story was it that you could look at things, that you could look at the history of Thedas and kind of figure out what happened and stuff. I think that's really cool. And if that's not what happened, it's kind of neat to have that to think about. Different stuff, where the world is so deep and rich that it actually allows you to wonder at its history and stuff like that. So, anyway, all right, enough babbling. So this is our last lieutenant.
Just get to the hall. Barris will explain.
Fight well.
Put a little bit of time back on the clock. We're pretty good. I think we just have this treasure chest. We'll have time to pick up any remains of enemies if there are any, and essentially that's pretty much it. Yep, no getting through there. Alright, and if we go straight ahead, that's where we went the first time, when we unlocked that, oh wow, I don't know where he came from. When we unlocked that door with Sarah and did all that stuff. Okay, so we cleared out this side too. At least everything that I know about. I don't know. If there's something I missed, let me know. Down there in the comments section. I think I've been pretty thorough, though. And that should do it. Got the lieutenants, got the Lyrium for these guys, and they should be able to do their thing and hopefully knock this barrier down. First, let's help them clear out the hall one more time.
They're in place. On your order.
This is going to stretch on a bit, because I'm going to include the Envy Demon fight, and then the decisions that I make. Agree or disagree with them, whatever, but this is, you know, I hope you're enjoying playing along with me. That's the whole idea here. And hopefully discovering maybe some new dialogues, new things, seeing some stuff that maybe you hadn't seen, because you, I don't know, took different routes in your talking with people and explored different areas and, you know, maybe didn't see a door here and there or something like that. Or you did, and it's something that I completely missed and you can tell me about. You can say, hey, Ninja, man, there was a secret door over there with the ultimate weapon in the whole game and you missed it. And I'll be like, okay. Don't troll me with that, guys, either, because I'll come back on a whole nother playthrough just to look for it. I really will. Alright, so let's heal everybody up. Let's top everybody off. Just enough potions for that, actually. We did a pretty smooth run that time, I think. Didn't lose anybody. And here's where it gets brutal, though. This little section right here, this is one of those mob battles that's, yeah, it gives me the blues a little bit.
Right. Keep them off us! We'll break this beast!
Here's where they have the Templar version of a party. Yeah, man. Good stuff, man. Barris, you're liking that a little too much there, bro. Alright, so they're amped up and doing their thing. Releasing their inner mage or whatever. Tear down these barriers for us, but it's going to take a minute, so we have to survive these waves of enemies. And like any place else, it's the friggin' archers that really get you.
Watch the barrier. The Red Templars can pass through.
Alright, so hopefully if I can get a barrier on me, speaking of barriers, flatten a few of these punks and then do a little damage and then get out of here. They're not going to do near as much damage to my followers as they are to me. Simply put. But, you know, now that I'm kind of looking third person here, wow, 3 arrows and my entire bar of guard was gone. I was full on guard, completely full. I'm assuming it was about 3 arrows. I don't know. It disappeared almost instantly, though. I know that. And then this punk with his AoE crap. Thank you for the barrier. I needed that. Now you see why I saved that whole box of potions. I'm gonna need it. Alright, let's see. I don't know if any of you are timing this, but you can time it and you'll see exactly how long you need to survive. Like I say, I've killed more enemies than this and I've killed less. And it seems like at a certain point they all just kind of fall out and you're done. Friggin' archers. Tell you what, if you don't like archers, this is certainly a good time to let them know. Yeah, see, that thing stood right next to Sarah and took about half a bar of her health. He could stand next to me for the same amount of time and kill me. From full health. Alright. And that's it. Notice, I hadn't... I hadn't killed them. They just died. So it was a certain amount of time, and then that's that. And it's like they just about all dropped something. Sweet. And there you have it. Notice I grabbed that codex from up there where the Templars are right now, because had I not, I wouldn't be able to get to it now because they have their little barriers set up. Alright, so let's make sure there's no more remains. There we go. Grab everything while I can. 5 gold. Well, I'll take it. Alright, and it's very nice of them that they give us an entire new box of potions. Yeah, whatever, dude. Top everybody off one more time. Nice, just enough again. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Alright, so we're full. Let's see how much good it does us. This guy right here is so overpowered, it's honestly, it's just ridiculous. It really is. He's like a terror demon on crack. And steroids. And coffee. And meth, all at the same time.
I touched so much of you. But you are selfish with your glory. Now I'm no one.
Dude, don't be so envious, man.
Dark and desperate. Death to make yourself alive. I used to be like you. I'm not anymore. You shouldn't be either.
Kill him with poetry, Cole. That's what you do. Yeah, there he goes. Bam, bam, bam. Just that fast. And other than maybe playing a rogue and having that really quick dodge that they have that covers some actual ground, I don't know a way to get away from that. I really don't. It's just ridiculous. Other than timing it, right? But he'll spam it. Like he did it there. He'll do a melee or two and watch. Even while he's frozen. It's not fair. It's just not fair. Bastard. Okay. If I hadn't had a barrier, I'd be dead. Most definitely. So shut up. He's gonna do it again here in a second. There he is. Yeah, that was on me. Now, this is that place I had mentioned this in a prior video when I leveled up and equipped myself to head out to do this very mission. I had mentioned I could take the upgrade for combat roll instead of the upgrade for, what did I take? The upgrade for block and slash? But I could take the upgrade for combat roll and take any debilitating effects off of my character by rolling, kind of like when a rogue goes into stealth or whatever. But what it'll do is you'll still, when he hits you with that thing, you'll still have the terror effect for a little bit. But when you come out of it, you can you'll be slowed also. You can get the slow debuff off of you. And right now, just like any other time, get the archers out of the way first. I'm not going to worry about anything until I get them dead. And we'll talk about everything else. Come on. No, I took out Cole myself. Sorry about that, dude, but... Alright. And that's it. Now all we have is... Now, notice this. This is one of these... He's like a Reaver, okay? But the interesting thing is he's essentially still the terror demon, the envy demon, because you can still pull him with the chain. At Reaver, you couldn't do that. He'd be you know, cemented into the ground. He's not going anywhere. But you can pull him out of his attack mode with the grappling chain. Get him off your tank for just a second. Crap. Alright, so I think it's a certain amount of time after all of his little helpers are dead, I think, that he stays in his Reaver form, and then he comes back like this, and this is where you can finish him off. And the more damage you've already done to him, the better, obviously. Yeah, see, I'm debuffed. I'm really, really slow. And, yeah, there's the terror. Okay? When I come out of terror, if I had that upgrade to combat roll, I could roll and get that slow off of me. That's what I was referring to, but, oh well. Still slowed. It's lasting for a while, isn't it? Still slowed. Wow. Okay. That's annoying. I do have a barrier up, but if he hits me with the follow-up right now, I'm dead. And I'm dead, yeah. Oh, nice. Looks like Cole finished him off. Good going, dude. Right on. Well, I would have liked to have been there for the finishing touches, but, well, whatever. I'll take that as a win. Look at all this stuff. Now he drops a dagger for Cole. That's kind of cool. That'll be useful for some time, actually. I guess if I came here at way over leveled, like level 10 or 11 or something, that dagger would probably be pretty useless. I honestly don't really use Cole anyway. I'm kind of saving the whole dual wield assassin thing for my character when I play it through. Though I might play with him a little bit later, just to kind of get a taste for it. But I'm really can't wait to play around with it on my own character. All right, there's the noble that we saved. He's alive here because we didn't play the stupid flag game.
Herald, I sincerely apologize for losing countenance amidst the chaos. That was unfortunate. I do hope it won't affect our concord.
You translated that? I'm sorry, I was a coward.
Don't worry, you're needed.
Wonderful.
The demon is dead. Andraste be praised. She shielded you from its touch. We've numbers across Thedas, but we let this happen. Our officers either failed to see it, or were complicit. The Templars are ready to hear what the Inquisition needs of us.
Alright, now here's my reasoning for the decision I'm about to make. The Templars have lost their way to the point that they don't have a way anymore. They're not the Templars anymore. I don't know what you would call them now, just some guys in suits now, looking for a direction. So, trusting them as a Templar order from this point forth,
If that thing hanging over our
they're
heads
not.
doesn't terrify you, you're braver souls than I. The Inquisition can't seal the breach on its own. We need the Templars' help. Everyone needs your help.
You speak truths we should never have ignored. But the Order is leaderless, gutted by betrayal. We must rebuild it.
There is no time. If the old order is too broken to stand, then become knights under the Inquisition. Serve us. Stop the breach and begin again without stain on your honor. That is our offer.
If it is the only way, Templars, will we serve the Inquisition to atone for our failure? So be it. The Order will disband and take up the Inquisition's banner. We'll need weapons, training grounds, a place to rest. The Inquisition must prepare for our arrival.
expecting company.
What you found in the captain's quarters means the officers willingly blighted half their knights with red lyrium.
Even before some of them realized the Lord Seeker was replaced by a demon.
Even so, disbanding the Order should have been the Inquisition's decision, not yours alone.
It was chaos. I couldn't keep the Templars in the courtyard while I searched for a messenger bird.
I would have preferred willing allies, but the Order put their trust in our herald. Surely that's what we wanted.
A few dozen veterans are coming ahead of the rest to help seal the breach.
How soon until these veterans arrive?
They're almost here. Templars don't like to be late.
He's admiring my map marker.
Wait!
I came with you to help. I would have told you before, but you were busy.
You were following behind me in secret, Cole. All the way to Haven.
Yes. It's easy to make people forget you when they don't expect you to be there.
Call the guards. This creature is not what you...
A moment, please, Cassandra. I would like to hear why he came.
You help people. You made them safe when they would have died. I want to do that. I can help.
Why and how would you help the Inquisition?
The hole in the sky is too loud for spirits to think. It's pulling, pushing out pain. I want to stop it.
How altruistic of you.
I want to help. I can be hard to see. I can kill things that would hurt people. I won't get in the way.
Cole saved my life in Theronfall. I couldn't have defeated Envy without him.
But what does he want now?
I think he really is trying to help.
I won't be in the way. Tiny, no trouble, no notice taken unless you want them to.
You're not honestly suggesting we give him run of the camp?
Not freely, perhaps, but it seems a waste to... Hold on.
Where did he go?
It's a good trick. You get used to it.
We must see if he can teach it to anyone else. I'll have people watch the boy. But let's not be distracted from the breach.
We'll need your help when the Templar veterans arrive. Take time to prepare while you can.
All right. And let's get back to some more adventuring. A little bit of history. Remember, the original Inquisition eventually became the Templar Order. It's not that that can't be done again. But the order that we had now was a misguided thing that had no direction. It had completely lost its way. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care.